Let's talk about two calls on Apple. We have Wedbush's Dan Ives. We actually talked to him this morning with Dan Roberts, saying that Apple is bound for a $400 per share. And then we also had Rosenblatt Securities, on the other hand. They're actually a bit bearish, noting that the tech giant's 5G expectations are too high. Dan Howley is back with me. And Dan, when we take a look at these two calls, totally different. One's a big bull, one's a bear on the stock. You cover it so closely. Which one do you think is a more likely scenario?
Ooh, that's a tough call for me. I think, when you're looking at Apple right now, everybody is constantly talking about this 5G supercycle, and that's what Dan Ives is pointing to. He's mentioned it in previous notes as well, and other analysts have too. This is something that's been predicted, where 5G iPhones come out, and then we'll see Apple sell boatloads of them compared to previous generations. That's really all a supercycle is just a huge amount of iPhone sales. What we're seeing now is some of a pullback from that kind of strategy of thinking where, we have this new bearish remarks. Now, prior to that, Nomura had released a note with similar bearish sentiment saying that maybe this 5G supercycle isn't going to exist. Maybe it's not really the 5G that's going to push the iPhone out the door, but features that come along with the new iPhone. And you kind of seen that with the iPhone 11. They introduced the new cameras on the back. That really made people go nuts, and so they went out and purchased these. They're selling a lot better than analysts had originally predicted because they were banking on people holding off on buying them for the 5G phone. And I think 5G to a lot of consumers is probably still this weird nebulous idea of what does it do for me? I already have 4G LTE. I can already stream movies on the bus or, from the back seat of the car. Why do I need something faster? And I think people don't really see the real benefit of what 5G will offer, and they might not until we get apps that take advantage of it. And that's where that sentiment is coming from, where you hear, well, maybe this super cycle won't occur. It's because consumers might not yet have a firm grasp of what 5G will do for them, so they might not necessarily go out and purchase these new iPhones in droves.
Yeah, Howley, what was interesting was when we were talking to Dan Ives, he was saying that there's 925 million iPhones worldwide. And of that, from his perspective, he was saying that roughly 350 million of these iPhones are in the, quote, window of an upgrade opportunity. So I know you're saying that maybe 5G won't be enough to have some of these people who are in that window of an upgrade opportunity actually force them to upgrade their phones. But if there's any traction, maybe one or two cool new things, maybe that will be enough to get more people than some of the bears are expecting, getting them off and actually buying the new phones.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of scenario that the bears are looking at. The bulls will stick to the 5G commentary, and they very well could turn out to be correct on that. We're seeing 5G proliferate faster than we saw with 4G as far as the network rollouts go. It took a long time for us to get from 3G to the current ubiquity that we have with 4G LTE. It's still going to take a while to get the same level of ubiquity that we have from LTE from 5G. It's not going to happen overnight. It's probably going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years where we get true ubiquity from 5G. We still are dealing with the issue that there's two different types of 5G. There's what they call sub-6 gigahertz. That's the kind of 5G that will give us large areas of coverage at higher rates of speed than LTE. And then there's that millimeter wave that you hear. That's that super fast, insane 5G that's being advertised right now. So we have these two different levels. Will we have two different types of iPhones that work with two different ones? We don't know yet. We'll have to see in September.